WICN, we are New England's jazz and folk station, enjoying the conversation with and music of Daniel Bennett and his group from the new CD, Peace and Stability Among Bears. And we heard that tune, again, an original called Ghost. You can see Daniel with the band tonight at the Liberty Hotel. That's on Charles Street in Boston, getting underway this evening at 9 o'clock. Daniel, beautiful, beautiful sound. You know, again, folk music is, you've been influenced by folk music, so is that why the guitar's there, or do you like it anyway?
A little bit of both. I actually write all of my songs from the guitar, and I think that for me the guitar is kind of keeps me honest. I can strum and just sing the melodies.
I was going to ask you if you wrote at the piano, so I would have guessed you. I would have guessed the piano.
Yep. No, I write everything from the guitar. That way, I feel like it's really coming out of my brain as I sing and strum, and it's whereas sometimes I mean I've written songs from the piano, but for me personally, I tend to kind of noodle and try too many. I try to make it sound complicated or something, and it usually doesn't sound good. So I write everything from the guitar, and all I do is just sing it.
The band is a quartet. Is that the vehicle you like the best?
Yeah, the group started as a duo with Chris Hirsch. It was acoustic guitar and saxophone.
Okay.
And then we added bass. And then a little while after that, added drums. And I think we've settled into that as being, although we do all sorts of incarnations of the group, but the full sound would be the quartet for sure.
Okay. You know, we were talking in the last break about moving to New York and getting established. But again, a lot, as you say, and many artists are doing this. They're producing everything. They book the gigs. They might arrange the gig. They do all the promotion, all the whole business end. Do you enjoy that?
You know, in a way, I'm kind of one of those oddballs who does enjoy that sometimes. Certainly, I'm a musician first, and I always, I have to come back to that a lot on a daily basis, that my goal and my vision is to write and perform this music and hopefully not get too bogged down in all of the business. But the business is, you know, it's part of it. It's part of the deal, for sure.
We hear constantly from artists going out there trying to get the gigs that, you know, the club owners or wherever you might be playing, they're more interested in guys, either a vocal or somebody doing standards. So when you're pushing your own original music, do you hit walls there? Or how is that?
Yeah, we do, for sure. Although I think our music is melodic enough and has a certain vibe to it that it doesn't. It's a lot of venues that play even straight ahead jazz that they don't have a problem with our music by any means. I wouldn't say that our music. We're certainly not avant-garde, but we're certainly not mainstream. New jazz or something like that either.
Right. Yeah. Well, you told me you like minimalist composers like Philip Glass and stuff, but your music is not kind of like that. Well, I mean, in a way it is.
In a way, yeah, no, definitely.
It is way more melodic than a Philip Glass melody.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. That's, but I've been influenced by Philip Glass. His piece "Einstein on the Beach" was probably one of my greatest inspirations to listen to. But Steve Reich as well. Music for 18 musicians probably inspired me quite a bit, but it comes in and out, the minimalist influence. Hopefully by this time in my career, what you hear is really just me at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So.
You know, you talked about you studied both classical and jazz at NEC for your graduate degree. So that means you have to practice 2 times. And you're practicing every equal time for classical and jazz?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly was a few years ago, and I did gigs with the Portland Symphony and other classical gigs or chamber music I was doing. But now it's the bulk of what I do is all jazz. Okay. So all of my attention and time is focused on writing music and practicing stuff that I can apply to my group.
Okay. Primarily. I'm just guessing here, but when you fill in for a classical gig, I mean, classical gigs are about your ability to read? Is that?
Oh, yeah. Reading's huge in precision. I also do a lot of pit orchestra gigs, doubling on flute and clarinet. Reading and being able to capture the sound that the composer wants, as opposed to inserting your own personality, which is very difficult for all of us to do.
Sure.
But you know what? It's a good challenge, and at the end of the day, I think it helps me overall. It helps me as a musician. It's a good challenge.
Okay, yeah. We're speaking again with saxophonist, composer, band leader Daniel Bennett. His new CD, it's called Peace and Stability Among Bears. You can get a copy tonight when you see the band at the Liberty Hotel, Charles Street in Boston. That's getting underway this evening at 6. You've got the horn. Can we hear
Sure.
a little solo recital?
Yeah.
What are you going to play for us?
You know, I'm going to play a piece called Bear Thompson, and it's actually off of our first album, A Nation of Bears, and it's an unaccompanied. I'm going to do sort of a short little rendition here.
All right. On the alto sax?
Yes.
All right. Going to hear some live saxophone here on Jazz New England. We're at 2:32. Thanks for joining us here on WICN. This is New England's Jazz and Folk Station. We are live. Daniel Bennett here, live in the WICN studios. A little tune called Bear Thompson. Tell us
very short version of it, by the
way. who is Bear Thompson?
Bear Thompson is a fictional character that we use in our throughout these albums, the 3 albums, the trilogy, the Bear Thompson trilogy. It's a cartoon character. If you buy the CD, there's actually a little cartoon on the inside. And like I was mentioning, the music is not as much based on him as he is kind of based on the music. The cartoon concept comes from the music. Yeah.
That's exciting. That's too funny. The move to New York, that was the right thing to do so far?
Yeah. It's been a huge blessing, and it's allowed us to reach a different audience while still including the Boston audience as well. Yeah.
So how many, you're out on the road quite a bit. How many days a year would you say that you're out there toiling away?
Now things have picked up, certainly more than they were in the past.
Okay.
I mean, the group, like I said, we've got essentially two groups that are going on, the one in Boston, one in New York. And so that being said, I mean, we're doing over... Oh, this year we're on track to do over 100 dates.
Wow.
For an independent jazz group. That's it's a lot of dates to work on, and we're hoping to add to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How far out are you going from the city?
Well, I mean, right now,
there's that many gigs around the tri-state area. Huh?
Yeah. We do another weekly gig at a beautiful club in restaurant in Connecticut called Doc's Trattoria, and we mix it up with steady gigs, mm-hmm. and then one-off club dates, and also the Triad Theater series in New York is starting to pick up. We had Charlie Hunter on that last month, Daniel Bennett Group and Charlie Hunter, and like I said, that the official New York CD release is going to be with Steve Kuhn, double bill. And then in June, we're actually going to do a double bill with Greg Osby, who's a beautiful sax player. And his band is going to be sharing the bill with us at the Triad
You know, he has his own label, because somebody, I can't recall who was here, but somebody had a CD released on Greg Osby's label, so check with him on that.
Yes.
Get some,
it's good to know. I
get
didn't
some
know that.
distribution.
Yeah.
We are again speaking with Daniel Bennett, and you can see him tonight at the Liberty Hotel on Charles Street in Boston. We're going to go back to the new CD again.
Yes.
It's called Peace and Stability Among Bears. What are we going to hear next?
You know, let's check out Arizona. It's a little bit different. It's a clarinet piece that I did clarinet on this one. We don't perform it live very much, so I think people will be hopefully pleasantly surprised to hear it on the disc.
All right, let's have a listen. Daniel Bennett on Jazz New England.